I thought it was going to be.
If you can remember.
Yeah, I can. I'm not old.
Wait,
back
6
in
years
my
ago, I
day,
can't remember what happened at Christmas. Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly. We were together.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Outside Crowd podcast. Just another one with me and Ryan today because JB is
Gallivanting again.
in Wales, which is his second home, which is fair play. It's lovely out there.
Good on him.
Although probably quite cold at the moment.
I'd say
it's
so.
currently snowing in Kent, so I should imagine the weather's absolutely awful in Wales. Any hoodles. So hello from me. Hello. I'm Ryan.
Yo!
Yo! Today we're going to have a little £0 to real business chat. So
Yes.
this episode is, well, it's for anyone really, but it's a conversation between two people who are sort of 6-7 years into business, with tips, advice, and stuff on things that we wish we knew when we started. Basically, going from what it takes to start a business, why you would do it, and the things that you should be doing before, during, and in. That during and in is the same thing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And when you get to a certain point. So I thought I'd start with early doors, a little bit about my business first, and then we'll just ask you the same questions, right?
Sounds
So,
good, bro.
obviously, my company, formerly William Gordon Countryside Services, now WGCS Tree Management, tree surgery company, running 2 teams in Tunbridge Wells and moving into South London. Been running now for 6 years.
Nice.
And I would say most of the progress has happened over the last few years,
Yeah, fair.
which I'm sure you can agree. I think also another quite good thing about this, like having a chat between me and you, is because we're not fucking YouTube gurus. You know, we haven't got multi-million-pound businesses. This really is the nitty-gritty of what it actually is to run a business.
Yeah, that's it. It's
because
the bottom line, eh?
I'm not wrong. It's fucking tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it sucks.
It really is tough. Well, I think a lot of people really need to know the realities of it because. I think, you know, when I first started as well, like you look at videos. I mean, that's quite a common place to go, isn't it? YouTube,
Yeah.
YouTube, or just listening to podcasts, and you think it's like you get all excited. And you're like, oh yeah, and it's all like, wow, this happens and this happens.
Yeah.
And it's like everything takes so long and everything's fucking hard,
that's
and
right.
people are a pain in the arse, and there's lots of issues.
Yeah.
So sorry,
Yeah.
just carrying on. Started 6 years ago, doing tree work, loving it, off the tools now, which is great. And in a very, very different position to when I started.
Yeah.
Reasons for starting was I didn't want to work for the man. I wanted to work for myself. And I think growing your own business is far more exciting than just working for someone. Unless there's real opportunity for career progression.
That's right,
Then
yeah.
I think working for someone else can be absolutely fantastic. How about you, Roy?
Yeah, so we've probably been going the same amount of time, I guess 6 or 7 years. And yeah, I definitely agree with you. In the last couple of years, I think everything's kind of fell in together, and I'm able to. I've learned a hell of a lot more, you know, in the last couple of years, and progressed a hell of a lot more, which is great. Which is great. And yes, it is difficult. I think that's one thing people who are going to start a new business or starting something must understand, that it is difficult. You know, you talked about the nitty gritty. It's like, yeah, it's, you know, a friend of mine said, oh, I'd love to start a business and, you know, I can choose my own times. And I just laughed at him. And he said, well, you know, you get to choose your own times. I'm like, times of what, mate? You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? He said, well, you can finish whenever you want. You start whenever. It's like, what world are you in? You know, like, what world are you in when I'm still working on a Sunday or still messaging this, doing that? It never stops. It never stops. So it's making sure that make sure you move in the right place, otherwise you end up bogging yourself down very, very quickly. So
Very true. So, as I said earlier, from £0 to real business, what do you wish you knew before you started? I think we could both chip in on this.
GCSEs, to be honest with you, mate.
GCSEs. You wish you had GCSEs.
I think no.
Shit.
What I wish I knew. Now, I guess one thing that pops to mind is the fact that you know, I was always going to do a good job. You know, I knew I was always going to do a good job, regardless if it was the first time I was doing something. You know, the amount of learning that I put into it, the amount of, you know, the amount of research that I put into stuff, and, you know, using all my carpentry skills across the board, the stuff I did on site, to then working, doing the landscaping and bits. I think the first thing is what I wish I knew then was being confident in myself. I think being confident in myself, knowing that I was going to do a good job. I think without second guessing myself. I think that's the first thing is that, and that didn't take any money, at all. It's like just really understanding that as long as you're a nice person, you're going to do a good job every time. Just believe in yourself.
I think that's a really, really, really good thing to say, because I think I spent a lot of my beginning part of my business career doubting myself.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly that. Yeah,
but then again, I don't know if it's like, actually, I think have confidence in yourselves and the things that you know.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Because there's lots of things you don't know, and fuck it, you've just got to try them.
Be okay with that, and that's the other thing. Like that's my point. It's like, yes, I knew I was going to do a good job. Yes, it was always going to be spot on. I was never going to leave anything that I thought, oh God, no, it was always going to be done right. But it's understanding that, there are things that are new. There are things that you might not be doing, but you're going into them with the mindset of, I'm going to do a good job. So trust it, respect yourself, and be like, no, I'm taking my time with this. I'm going to do it right. That's it. And the second guessing, how many times I was like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I think I should be this far now, or, it's like, no. So just...
Yeah, I don't think I ever heard that bit of advice either. Really.
Okay.
No one.
You've never listened, but
no, you don't. I think. Oh God, I'm stuttering. I think people. I mean, I don't know about people, but me. It took me a long time to also get help. As well. So I don't really ever had the opportunity to speak to someone to say, look, mate, fucking trust yourself. Especially like the craft. Mm-hmm. Trust the craft that you do. Mm-hmm. The actual job that you spent ages doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, to be fair, I didn't know much about tree work when I started. That's why it's difficult. But the things I did know, I should have had full confidence in myself. But I was always like, oh, God, you're always second guessing and is that right and whatever. But it only takes now that you're like, right, yeah, bang, we're doing that.
But I think the second guessing part for me, it's, I guess, allowing yourself to go. It's okay to second guess. It's okay to go, hang on, should I be thinking about this? Well done. You're second guessing. You're thinking about it. Yeah. Just don't be horrible to yourself about it.
Oh, that's true.
That's the only bit. It's like, do the second guessing, sure, but don't be upset with yourself when it's oh, I should have known that before. It's simple now. Well, you know. You didn't before. So it's just, I think the bit of advice I would give is be kind to yourself and understand that the second that you've gone out to do something on your own, you've already got the ambition to do it. You're trying something that's not easy to start a business. Everyone thinks it's all luxury. It's very much not, because if none of the bills get paid, you're the one who gets paid last.
Yeah, very. That is very true.
That's it.
Very true. So there you go. Top tip: if you are starting a business, be fucking nice to yourself.
That's it.
Be nice to yourself. Have confidence that you know what you're doing, especially in the job itself. You're going to come up against things that you don't know a lot, but that's all right.
And I think what you said as well is that it took me a long time to get. It took me a long time to be like, right, I'm getting to a point where a wee bit of help would be nice. On the finance side of things, being able to get the cash flow up to date, and everything. JB's been fantastic at that, which has been really good. And I think that it took me a while to get there. I would like to say to my younger self, get help sooner. Ask that question. Don't be afraid to go to someone. Hey, look, what should I do in this situation? Don't be afraid to ask another business that you respect. That you know of. Just say, hey, look, can I ask you a question about this? I'm sure they might go, oh, we dealt with that last week, and we still do all the time. I think more and more these days, I think people are. Well, I know I am willing to help, and anyone rings me up and says, what should I do in this situation? Don't do what I did. Do this. Oh, brilliant. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid. And if anyone does, tuck down and you look down, you don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. Sure. Don't take it home. Don't worry about them, because whoever you meet on the way up, you will meet on the way down.
Very, very true. Quick question for you.
Go on, sir.
What did you think business was going to be like compared to what it's actually like before you started? But when you were like, I'm going to start a business, what was...
I thought it was going to be...
If you can remember.
Yeah, I can. I'm not old.
Mate, back 6 years ago, I can't remember what happened at Christmas. But there's a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly. We were together. I think I don't know. I think it was. I think I was. It was more gun ho. Let's go. You know, the next job. You know, more exciting. You know, I think it was going to be more exciting dealing with the issues, dealing with the problems. But I think as time goes on, they're not very exciting. You know, they're not. They're not exciting. You know, what problems are you dealing with? Client not going to pay, or the van breaks down. There's nothing exciting about that.
Yeah.
You know, so I think maybe there was a bit of I thought there'd be a little bit more exciting. Of the whole thing overall. So
you thought it'd be more exciting?
I think so. I thought it would be more.
You say that, but there's a lot of exciting things. Like you have massive ups. You know, all it's let's go.
Yeah.
Lots of that. I think what I just to interject / add on to what you've said, I would say that business is a lot more than before I started. I had a vision of what business was like.
Yeah.
And business is so much more about the small, mundane, everyday chugging along and just carrying on doing the thing than I thought it would be.
Right.
I thought it would always be about these big wins and you get these big rushes and then you're on the job and then it's blah, blah. And then when you get that, that's when you implement these things. But it's not. It's like seeing stuff in advance, forecasting it, recording everything, making sure everything's in writing, writing down how many quotes you've done, inquiries. It's all about numbers. So much of it is about numbers. And I think to have a good business, especially in 2026, you have to know the numbers. You have to know and record everything, and you have to operate like a business that's like 5 times the size of yours.
That's right.
And like for so long, I operated on the back of a fag packet. I ever think about it now, like I had nothing in place. And like everything was so unorganised. I couldn't pick out any information. Like I didn't realise foolishly how important that would be. And I think if I actually knew, I'd be really, really put off by running a business.
I couldn't agree more, because I think I've always gone off the basis of, I know what happens to small companies, the cash flow, the cash flow issue, then suddenly that company goes under. I've seen it happen many times. I've heard it happen, through friends of friends or family. I'm sitting around the table and people are talking about their businesses, and I was always afraid of that happening. So I've set this business up it's a small business, but I've set it up as a big business. Because I just didn't want to get caught out by the things that they'd said, before. So having the things in place, and I remember, I've always had timesheets, and they were all written timesheets. So I'd print out the timesheets. The boys would do that. They wouldn't, I would have that the whole time, but where the timesheets went to was just a drawer, and we could look back on it. We could have a look, but it wasn't as systemized as it is now. So I guess the idea of it was good, but it's like now looking at it going, oh wow, that's where that information needs to go. That information from the timesheets goes into the timesheet reconciliation. It goes into on the jobs, the percentages, and it's like there's so much to do in the background. Because how do you know what you're earning on a job? How do you know that what you've budgeted for that job and the time allocated to the job you've done right on? Because if you don't know that, once you finish a job and looking back going, right, we finished that job, we were either 2 days under, 2 days over, whichever it is, the material we had, everything we priced for, we bought, and there's a wee bit of saving there, sure, that's fine. Knowing that information knows if you're on the right track, and it's really interesting. If I didn't have any of this, I wouldn't know that. So it's really important. Like you said, it's just mundane. It's just, it's not, that's what I mean by it's not exciting.
Yeah, no, it's not. No. I think anyone who's thinking about starting a business needs to know that, and they need to understand that it's not just like about earning more money all the time, although that's very important. There's so many, it's multifaceted. There's so many things that you need to think about. It's like, am I spending too much money? Like, because it's so easy to say yes to things. And I used to do it all the time, like especially advertising and stuff, like magazines and whatnot. And people always, just like, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I want my name everywhere. I want my name, but like, you have to know, like, there's so many questions you have to ask, which I didn't know before, and you want to spend money on this, you want to spend money on that, and then like, can we take the fat out of the company? Am I doing are we spending too much time with the company? Like, the timesheets, like where can we become more efficient? Like a lot of it's more efficiency. So like, if you're thinking about starting, yes, at the start you need to be just getting working, whatever. But like, as soon as possible, you need to be thinking, right, but how can we make this efficient? Because money in the bank is going to be what's really going to progress you quicker. And on that note, I think we should probably go from the beginning
Yeah.
Like before you even start.
Yeah.
You know, what are the things you should be doing? A few of the things I've noted down are do your market research.
Yeah, fair.
Who's in the area? What kind of customers are in your local area that are accessible to you? What other companies are operating?
Yeah.
Is it a saturated market? That sort of thing. Is everyone busy?
Yeah, yeah.
What are people charging? I reckon I could have charged double what I charged at the start. I know, like, it's important. Like, you want to get the customers in, but like realistically, people will have still said yes, and I could have worked half the time for the same amount of money.
Yeah, yeah. I remember looking at a few jobs I priced years and years ago, going, "Wow, what was I doing?" You know, it's just like, well, bigger job, you know, and it was like, let's go, and then suddenly you look at it and go,
Yeah.
what was I doing? You know, it's.
I think my advice for pricing
Yeah.
is price it as if you are scared of it.
Well,
I look at it and be like, price it so it sounds a little bit ridiculous to you. Because what sounded ridiculous to me at the start now is not enough. So like, I would say if it sounds ridiculous, you're probably right.
Probably right, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
you're probably right.
A wounded bull, so
yeah, because like, no, don't charge what you feel comfortable charging. It's not up to you to decide how much that person can afford.
No, that's right.
It's up to you to decide. Right, how much does it cost me to run this company?
That's it.
What am I worth?
That's it.
You know,
Yeah.
charge not what you feel comfortable with. Charge not like a rhino, but like
Yeah,
charge
yeah.
appropriately. So that's what I mean. Like, do your market research. Have a scoot about. Like, if you need to, ring around some companies and send them a picture of a tree or whatever, and be like, "How much is it going to cost me to have this cut?" Yeah. You're wasting a little bit of their time, but also you're doing yourself a massive favour.
And if you want any free quote, you send that to. Yeah.
If you call me, I'll fucking kill you. I think if you can have a scout around as well.
Yeah.
Like, you can get some costing ideas by ringing people around. Or Google's not that great. I've looked at Google before. It doesn't really give you a rough idea. It all depends. But if you were to get someone around, or if you know someone else who runs a tree surgery company, or someone who used to be in a pricing situation, you can ask them, or a landscaping company. Be like, look.
Yeah.
I've got this area here. Use it as an example. You use your own back garden, your parents' back garden, whatever, and just be like, look. How much, if I wanted this, this, and this, would this cost me?
Yeah.
Why have you priced it like that? Why have you done that? Yeah. And understanding that, like getting the pricing down early on, because it took me years and years and years, I think is a really, really important thing.
Yeah, I think
to get on.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. I think the pricing side of things has always been, you know, it's always tricky. I know what you mean by that comment of like until you're uncomfortable, because you know how many times I put prices together, get to the bottom figure, and then put it on. I can't. That's mad. But it's like, well, no, hang on a minute. It's because I've written all of this down. I've put all the material on it. I've done everything there. I've said how long it's going to take, and then how much the company costs. That is fundamentally what it is, and that it is. It's like, it's knowing what materials, labour, and your percentage on top. You know, and that if you need to. It's like, it is as simple as that, and don't be afraid of that bottom number. That, you know, that number can always come down. It can't always go back up.
Yeah, sure.
You know? And I think, sorry, on your comment about asking a few people, you know, like if you think about your family, you think about how many people you have in your family, and you say, who had a patio done in 3 years ago?
Oh yeah.
So, and straight away, how much does that cost you? Have you got the quote? Yeah, I've still got the quote.
That is a really good idea.
Yes. So then the thing is, that person can send, you know, a family member, go, this is the quote that I received from so-and-so.
Yeah, one thing you're seeing how a quote's prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you're looking at how the quote's prepared. You're looking at what, the thing is, I mean, 3 years ago, probably the prices, to be fair, 3 years ago might have been more expensive because of where we were at. But, you know, you can have a look and see what it's like. And again, you know, I know, you know, when someone said to me, how do you present your quotes? We present our quotation with lots of detail. I've always wanted to be like that. But I remember doing my first one, thinking, I want this perfect. I want this right. You know, I want this, and I put so much information down. It took me so long to do. Sent it, didn't hear anything back. And it's like, then I speak to somebody else, and they said, I put a quote in for the other day, and it is just dig out patio, and I'm like, are you sending this? They're like, yeah, 1 page document. I'm like, you're sending 1 page document for a job that's about 50,000-60,000? Yeah. What?
Yeah.
And they're winning work, and I'm like, that's not what I do. I've got 5-6 pages of information.
Yeah.
But
I think that's also something you can build up to, because you need to know where to spend your time.
But that's my point. My point is, now I understand that. So you know, and this is a bit of advice as well. You know, because the quotations do take a long time. If you are starting a business on your own, you're doing the work as well as the quoting. having a conversation with the client saying, what I'm going to do is we've discussed 3 options here. What I'm going to do is send you over a budget figure for each, as in it's going to be between A and B for each one. It's going to be roughly about this price. When you've got it all jotted down, send it over to them. If they say, we like option B, then write the quotation up.
Yeah, that saves
Then
you a lot of
write
time.
the quotation. Exactly, because it splits the men from the boys. And it's like, if that's what... If you would like to spend that on the project, then I can do the quotation for it. But, it's just being confident in the fact that no problem, I'm happy to do the job. You've asked for three breakdowns. These are the options. They're going to be within this, or this, Which option would you like?
Yeah.
Whether they go, I don't want any of the options.
You don't want to be writing 3
Exactly.
quotes. Yeah,
And then for someone not to get back to you either.
Yeah.
Because they might be so afraid.
Yeah, a lot of people won't get back to you.
And that's the other thing. They don't get back to you.
Fucking rude.
Well, it is, but it's also, I think there's a bit of embarrassment there. This is where when I go to projects, say, how much would you like to spend in the garden? They go, we're waiting for you to create a budget. I'm like, no. I can create a price for the job. What have you got? What budget have you got? Because if you turn around and say, well, actually, we've got £200 in the bank, and we want 100 square, there's no point. But if you turn around and say, look, I've got 40,000 in the bank because I want to do this, okay, brilliant. I can use my experience and my knowledge to be like, right, if we change the patio size from this to this, creating that wall there instead of over there, we might be able to save that money there, and still give you everything we need, because that's the experience I've got. That's what we do. We're trying to get as much out of your budget for you as possible. So yeah, that's my little bit of advice.
Fair. On with market research, as I said, check if the market's saturated. If there's lots of people in that area.
Yep.
If it is saturated, I mean, like Kent and Tunbridge Wells, that area is pretty saturated. There's a lot of tree surgeons, there's a lot of landscapers.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're not going to get work. You can still do very well. You just have to be the best of the best, which I would assume you're trying to be anyway. There's different levels you can sit at. So I think having a little business plan and figuring out where you want to sit. Do you want to get big? Do you want to be the premium? Do you want to be the guy who does cheap patios?
Yeah.
There's a place for those kind of people, but people who haven't got a big budget. Do you want to be the person who does just, your mow and blows, your cheap tree work, whatever?
Yeah.
Then that's fine. I think sit down and think about in 5 years where you'd like to be and start your business like that.
Yeah.
So like getting pen to paper and writing something down, I know it sounds laborious, but it really helps you have direction, and you can look over that every 6 months and think, right, okay. And if your market is saturated in that area and it's in your business plan, where's within travelling distance that's not,
what are you doing differently that they're not?
Exactly.
Or something.
Yeah. So like you can say these are the kind of questions you want to ask yourself. Like you can run it through ChatGPT or anything. You can say, what kind of questions should I be asking myself in a business plan? What's the market like? Nice. What other companies are there? And then you go, right, what am I doing about that?
Nice.
Okay, so what can I do about that? How are you going to market? Okay, am I going to use Google Ads? Am I going to use leafleting? Well, which I think would recommend massively. Printing out a load of leaflets. It's cheap. You get a load of your boys on it, or you get your dad and your mates, and you just go out and just plaster loads of letterboxes with leaflets. I just think it's really effective marketing.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I started, that's kind of how I got busy. So I'd say that's a really good tip. Don't look too big and don't spend too much money at the start. Just do what you can. Loads of word of mouth. Tell everyone what you're doing.
That's it.
I'm a gardener. I'm a tree surgeon. I'm a landscaper. Someone will, I know. Oh, he's doing it. He's doing it. You send an email out. You just get as many people as you know. That's a really good thing.
Uniform as well. Uniform.
Uniform as soon as you can. I did that as soon as I could.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip. If you can sit in your phone, if you like, for example, you've got a business partner or you've got your friends and be like, look, I'm starting this business. If you look through your phone and everyone looks through their phone and go, how many contacts are in that phone that could potentially want work or know someone who want work or could get me into a place that could do work? This is like for we're currently trying to move from sort of 80% domestic work to 80% commercial work. And that's one of the first things I'm doing is like looking through my contacts, they're called soft leads. So who in my contacts has any sort of connection to commercial tree work? Is someone who's a decision maker in a business? Do they have a premises, whatever? And you can do the same thing when you're starting out. I'd say that's a pretty
really good idea, man. That's
pretty solid thing to do.
Even if you wrote a fucking something on WhatsApp, wrote something out saying just everyone on the phone, I've messaged everyone, just to let you know this is what I'm doing now. Please share with friends and family, and just send everyone the same message. Send everyone the same message.
If you get a reply, put them in a database. Make sure you follow them up within a few weeks.
That's it. Yeah,
that sort of thing. Again, if it is saturated, even if it's not bit of niche positioning? Like, what are you doing that's a bit different to everyone else? Is it your marketing that's different? Is your branding? Is it a service that you're offering?
Yeah.
Our dear friend Jake Fairweather, he just does millboard, doesn't he? Or just decking, like that's slightly niche. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's lots of different things you can be.
Yeah.
If you want to be the cream of the crop, like a premium brand, like
Royal Thomas World.
yeah, RTW, William Gordon Country Services, WGCS Tree Management, we all speak incredibly well, and people fucking love that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's your niche? Is that like I know people who do just pest control, not pest control, but like invasive species control. You know, like I don't know many people who do that. I met this guy a few years ago who had a company that just did tree moving.
Wow.
So trees of a certain size can be moved, and they had this ginormous tree shear that went into the ground and took this up. And then, mate, the amount of events that they move stuff for is mental. Also, if Lady Crowborough, if she wants, or the Earl of Crowborough or whatever, if he wants a fucking olive tree that was in his last place moved to there, he's fucking getting it.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's getting it.
He's getting it. Yeah.
Through whatever, he's getting it. And there is a company that does that.
That's amazing.
And I looked up their company's house, and they're turning over around 15 million a year.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And I think they operate mainly with machinery with about 10 guys.
Wow.
And I was like, mate, that's sick. But it's not just tree moving. They do other stuff as well, but it's all around that.
Yeah,
planting,
of course,
that sort of thing. But it's fucking niche.
That's great.
It's a niche. Like the actual tree shear thing is like bespokely made. Like it's mental.
I've seen them.
They're cool. Like not many people have them because they cost a fortune.
Yeah.
So that's another good thing to think about. And again, if you're doing a business plan, costs, like what is it going to cost me to start this up, like realistically, just like double triple check everything you need.
Exactly. And write down the wish list of everything you want, and then next to it search out the price of each individual item. Go, that's how much it's going to cost. Then that number at the end is what you need, plus the other stuff you don't think about.
Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, like your first job doesn't go in your pocket, really, does it? It goes to your setup,
and the next 10, and
the next 15 jobs after that.
First job.
So that's it. So the barrier to entry. How easy is it to start? I mean, I think tree surgery, the barrier to entry, apart from the learning phase, is pretty low. I would say if you can afford to buy the stuff or finance it, then you're winning. Really, it's not like. It's not like other skilled businesses. Job. Yeah, sorry.
Skilled job.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the that is the barrier. There is knowing what you're doing. There's other stuff that is more machinery heavy that requires a lot of money. Yeah. There's also other things that requires labour, like for example, someone who needs a load of coders or something like. The cost is going to be a lot. Or if you're launching a product, you've got like the research phase, the production phase, all that sort of stuff that requires hundreds of thousands of pounds before you even start. Whereas these smaller service businesses, which you can start on your own or with one other person.
Shears and a rake and a bag, you're done fine.
To start making money. Yeah. I think it's pretty easy. I think after that, once you've got yourself going, you're in the sort of like the busy but broke phase, aren't you?
Yeah. Yep.
How would you get out of that?
Well, when I do,
no, because like you're not busy. No, I'm joking. No, I mean
right.
But I'm like when I say busy, I mean like when you're fucking running around like a headless chicken, which you are not anymore. I would say, and neither am I.
No, that's right. That's right. It's how do you get out of that? I think it just goes down to the management side of things. I think just having the forecast of, anything that the one thing for me is knowing what products you need to make sure you have in front of you, like lead time wise. So nothing bugs up. So when you're in the middle of the summer, when you ring up the fencing supplier and you're like, you want this, and it's like it's going to be 3 weeks, or bespoke items going to be 4, knowing that stuff, so there's a flag that comes up going, you need to order this now, because you're not, when you're on the tools or you're working with everything else, you're not thinking a month in advance. On that certain project, you're getting the next work in. I think the one thing is just knowing when your lead times are, knowing when your MOT's due. Simple. Simple. It is so simple, but when you go, the MOT's due next week, and I guarantee you need to do everything with that man that week.
Yeah,
guarantee.
So true.
We have Ty does our. He's a management lead. He does all the vehicles. So He knows when all the vehicles are near the MOT. He's got an alarm a month before, and he'll put it on the calendar, going right in the war room. He'd be like, right, this vehicle needs to go in at this day. What's everyone doing? You know, when do you want this van to go in? Shit, can we get it in earlier, or can we move it? Whatever, things like that. Simple.
It's all just organisational stuff.
It's just simple.
So if you're busy, if you've got work,
yeah,
that's the bit where I'm saying you need to reconnect, recalibrate, and think, right, I've got work. That's the first bit, right? Because there's always that first busy stage. You're like, right, fucking hell, I've actually got work now, and it's like, because I think at that stage you're just saying yes to everything, aren't you?
Yeah.
And there's a delay in that as well. There's a delay where it's like, you're like, fuck, I'm busy. And then by the time you get to those jobs, you're like, oh, fucking hell, I've charged nothing for this. You know what I mean? And I said yes to this about 3 months ago, and these people are willing to wait, probably because I've... Yeah, so don't be afraid to lose work from pricing, that sort of thing, but also really think about the efficiencies, and then constant reviewing, I would say, when you're at that stage.
Yeah.
What things am I slowing down? Like, what things are slowing me down? Like there was a period of time where me and a few of the guys when we first started, like, we're forgetting things all the time.
Yeah.
Where the fuck's the fuel?
Yeah.
Where's the fuel? Has anyone brought the rigging kit? Like, so why? Now it's like at the start, right? This is the job we're doing. Have you got this? Have you got this? Then we all have a check at the end. You know.
We have a list of lists, so it doesn't matter what you're doing. To be fair, LB did it for us. Ollie, he did it for us, and he's got. It doesn't matter if you're digging. He's got all the tools of digging. If you're pointing, it doesn't matter what you're doing. He's got laying kit, footings. There is lists of lists that we're going to get printed off and put up on the side, because it doesn't matter who you are, where you're at in the company. You can walk in the door, someone says you're doing this today, you can walk in and grab it all. Because that's something that I've noticed.
Cool. That's good. That's really good. I would say after that, that's good. Just like fucking taking stock of what you've got, getting back into it. You know what I mean? Don't be saying no, and learn from your mistakes at that stage. That's very important. After that sort of turning point, that's when you're putting in your systems, I would say. Get those systems in as soon as possible. Recording stuff. Inquiry schedules, plan the actuals, get some help.
Getting help. I think the inquiry schedule can be as simple as you've got say for example you've got your feckin' diary. You've got your 2026 diary. On the back of that, there's notes. Right at the top of it, quotations schedule. So it means that anyone who rings you up, you open the back of the diary up, you write their details down, the date of when you received it, who they are, and then that could either be logged into on a system once you get that far. But if it's just pen to paper, that's not a problem. But have those numbers to hand. So have the addresses, the full names, the emails, have all of that, because then one day that book, you're going to have, say for example, you do 3 years and you've got three diaries. And at the back of each one of those, each year has each inquiry that have come in. There's information that's golden. That's absolute gold. It is. It's got to be utilised. Don't take a phone call. Go look at a job, and even if you don't get it, you don't know where it is.
Yeah, for sure. I think once you're at that stage where you've got work, you've done all your marketing and everything, and you've got to that stage, all the stuff that we've spoken about. Yeah. We've kind of, on a lot of other podcasts, we have covered the stuff, which I think is good. But for anyone who's just starting a business, this should be pretty helpful for you. I've written a brief little list of just things to think about within your first 30 days. As a summary, learn the prices, learn the customers, don't overspend. Yeah. Think about the costing, as we've said. I also did write down here, build reviews. I think reviews are really important. Get some reviews in as soon as possible. That's a good shout. Really push your customers to get you some reviews.
Yes.
Refine your niche if you want to have one, as we spoke about earlier. Raise them prices, boy. Raise the prices as soon as possible. As soon as you can, raise the prices. And also, give a big drop kit to those bad customers.
Yeah, that's that. I second, third, and 10th that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just kick them into touch. Then you're into your building systems phase. Make sure you hire good people.
Yeah.
If someone's smelling bad, get them gone.
Yeah.
Get them. What is the thing you always say to me? If there's doubt, there's
Yeah,
no
if
doubt,
there's
or
doubt,
something like
there's
that.
no doubt. Yeah, if there's doubt, there's no doubt. Exactly.
If someone's causing an issue, I mean, you can have conversations, but you need to get rid of bad people as soon as
Straight
possible.
away, it's not even worth it.
It's not really.
There's people out there that would work that would work a lot harder as well. And the time you put into some people, unfortunately, I love putting time into people, and I always will. But it's bit me in the arse more times, and I'm happy about it. But there's times where you think, God, you know what? That could have been done a week earlier. Didn't need it to get to this point. So yeah, I rate that.
And then finally, as JB would say, profit, 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 baby.
Yeah.
Learn your numbers. Profit, profit, profit. Lost profits. And I think we'll do a little part 2 of this at some point.
Yeah, I think so.
To just carry on in some nice areas which we can summarise. But we are running out of time now, unfortunately. But just quickly, I just want to ask you a question. Biggest regret?
Meeting you.
Yeah, fair enough. And on that, it's time to end the show. And we'll see you next time on the Outside Crowd podcast. So thank you from me. Thank you very much, guys. And Ryan.
See you next time, too.
All right, cheers, guys.